Hello, welcome back again to another video here on Techniques. So today we are going to do something different. I'm going to introduce you to a new hacking tool called, a hacking distro called BlackArch Linux. So I don't know if you have heard of it or if you have ever tried to interact with it, play around with it. So today I'm going to do some brief introduction to BlackArch Linux. Then we're going to do a simple demonstration on how to use it and on how we can do scanning, recon, and a bit of exploitation. So what the hell is BlackArch Linux? So I know probably most of you are using Kali Linux because it's the most popular hacking distro out here. Then we have Parrot. Parrot also has a good follower base. But the thing is, Kali Linux and Parrot Linux, Black Box Linux, that is based on Ubuntu, but they are all based on Debian. So Kali Linux, Parrot Linux, they are all Debian. The difference here with BlackArch Linux is that it is Arch based. Okay, so if you don't know what Arch Linux is, you can just go do a few research about it. So there's no so much difference between BlackArch Linux and Kali Linux. There's no big difference. The only difference is the package manager that BlackArch uses. In Kali Linux and Ubuntu and Parrot Linux, we use what we call the aptitude or the apt for our package managers. So in BlackArch Linux, that is Arch Linux, we use what we call pacman or package manager. So BlackArch Linux is simply a penetration testing distribution that is based on Arch Linux that provides a large amount of cybersecurity tools. Large as in we'll have over 2,700 tools inside the BlackArch Linux. So you can see the interface is very, very, very shallow, as in you don't see much. You can only see a panel down here that indicates the date and time. You don't see anything else. Okay, so this might get very confusing because BlackArch Linux uses what we call the FLAC box. Okay, so it doesn't have much customization. The difference in Kali Linux and Parrot Linux, we have different desktop managers. For Kali Linux, the default right now is Xfce. In Parrot Linux, we use Met2 or GNOME2. Then you have other desktop managers. We have KDE, we have Cinnamon. There are a lot of other desktop environments out there. We have Debian. There are a lot. You can go and do some research on it. So BlackArch Linux is an open source distribution just like Kali Linux and Parrot and the others, and it was created specifically for penetration testers and security researchers. The repository, as I have told you, contains more than 2,700 tools that can be installed individually or in groups. So if I come to the BlackArch desktop here, if I right click on it, I go to BlackArch here, I can see all these tools that are categorized according to, we have anti-forensic, automation, automobile backdoors, we even have drones, exploitation, keyloggers. We have web apps down here, Windows, wireless. Okay. Then, if you want to run a terminal, it's right here. You can choose the color that you want for your own pleasure. We have gray, red, green, yellow, white. Then browsers here, we have Firefox and Chrome if you want to surf the web. Network here. We have Wi-Fi Radar Toolkit if you want to connect to a wireless network. The BlackArch Linux repository is here now. Everything that you need. All the tools, Metasploit framework, nmap, OWASP Zap, all the tools that you're familiar with, they're all here. As I've told you, the only difference with BlackArch Linux and the others is just a package manager. It's different. But everything else, because they are deep down, they are all Linux. All the common Linux commands, ps, ls, pwd, UMI, whatever, make directory, remove directory, all those commands will work right here, and I'm going to demonstrate to you. Okay, so we have the Fluxbox. As I've told you, BlackArch uses the Fluxbox desktop manager. You can configure it the way you want. We have system styles, user styles, workspaces lister. You can restart it, you can do about, and all that. So don't get intimidated because BlackArch Linux looks a bit intimidating. That's why I think most people avoid it. Hell, even me, when I started using BlackArch Linux, I think it was overwhelming, to be honest. I couldn't do the basic things that I could do in Kali and Parrot, like updating it. Even the installation is a bit complicated. Not to mention how to update and upgrade it, install the different packages and all that. It can be overwhelming. But in the end, if we say practice makes perfect, in the end, if you try to use it regularly on a daily basis, just start small, check out the terminal, the commands, try to get a bit familiar with it, and in the end, I guarantee you BlackArch Linux is a great distro. So let's open up a terminal here. I can come to the terminals. I can choose green. Now we can do all the common Linux commands that we are used to. pwd, root, ls, I'm in bin scripts. I can do cd to the root directory, ls. I have the file system here, the same thing that you'll see on a Kali or Parrot. I can make directory, let me call it hacker, do ls, where is it? The directory is here. I can remove it, remove directory, hacker. If I do ls, it's gone. I can do ls, takele, to list. Okay, I can clear the screen if I want to. The same tools that you have in Kali Linux and Parrot are all here. If I do nmap is right there, our favorite port scanner. If I do, what else? Recon ng. We don't have Recon ng. We do have Recon ng. Okay. So if you want to open another yellow terminal. So now the tricky thing here with so I know when you are using Kali and Parrot, you are used to sudo apt install, let's say VLC. So that doesn't happen here. You see, sudo apt command and phone. So apt does not work on BlackArch Linux. As I've mentioned to you, it uses the pacman manager. So I can do sudo pacman dash tac s or -s, not just s but capital S. Okay, so so if you want to do an update and upgrade of BlackArch Linux, you can always do sudo pacman -yu. This will update and upgrade the system. Okay. Oh, the reason is I'm not connected to a network now. I'm having some network issues. But it's okay. So that's the command if you ever wanted to do a full system update and upgrade on BlackArch Linux, sudo pacman -SYU, and it will do everything for you. Okay, so that's the only difference using the package manager. Okay, so that was just a basic. Now, as I've told you, every command, every Linux command will work on BlackArch Linux. Who am I? I'm root. Everything will work. So let's do some basic port scanning. I have a Metasploitable 2 running on my Docker container. So if I ping it, let's see if I can reach it. 172.17.02. And here I get some replies from the Metasploitable 2. It's up and running. Then for some reason I cannot do Control-C because the VirtualBox will try to remove me from the full screen mode. So let me just close it, open a new terminal. Now I can try to do some basic port scanning on the Metasploitable 2 machine. Let's do sudo. Okay, I'm already root. I don't need to do sudo. I can do nmap -s, small s, capital V. As I have told you before, that is for service and version detection. Then I can do the target 1702. No. 1702. Okay, so we are going to do some scanning right now. Let's to find out the ports and services that are running on that system and everything else. Now I can do dash -p small p. Now this will scan all the ports that are on the Metasploitable 2 machine. Remember, nmap only scans the top 1000 ports, and there are 65,535 ports, TCP ports that are out there, TCP ports and UDP ports. Now I'm going to scan all ports on the Metasploitable 2. Then I'm going to do verbose. Not just verbose, but more verbose. As you can see, I've put 2 of them. I can do even more verbose by putting another V. Okay, so let's start this scanning. Now nmap will start scanning all the ports and services on the Metasploitable machine. Try to tell us what ports are open, what services are running on those systems, and all that information that you need. As you can find out, we have already discovered several ports, 3306, and remember, all these are TCP ports, not UDP ports. By default, nmap scans only TCP ports. If you want to scan UDP ports, you have to specify with a -small s and capital U. That will tell nmap to scan only UDP ports. Okay, so we'll just let it go. Then I can open a new terminal here. Okay, so BlackArch is a great distro. It's a great distro. So if I come to the BlackArch menu, I don't want to. Sorry, the problem is if I try to go to the menu, it will just take up all the screen. As you can see, some tools are just many so it takes up the whole screen. But if you wish, you can always install a desktop manager like Xfce or GNOME 3 or KDE, whichever flavor that you want. You can actually install it on the BlackArch Linux, and the familiar look will come now. Okay, so there are many videos out there that you can watch that show you how you can install all these desktop managers. And by the way, there are also videos on how to install BlackArch Linux. But if you guys wish wish for me to make a video on installation of BlackArch Linux, just drop your comments out there. Let me see how many people want it done, and I promise you I'll make a video on how you can install BlackArch Linux. Okay, so let me now open a new tab again. Let me do yellow. I'm going to do first of all, who am I? I'm root. Okay, I can do MSF console. Let me run up the Metasploit framework. Now we are doing some port scanning here on the left terminal. After it's done, find the different ports and services that are available on the Metasploitable 2 machine. Then we'll try to do some basic exploitation. I just want to show you that nothing is different when it comes to using the tools that you are familiar with. Nmap, Metasploit framework, they all work the same, even if you are using a different distro like BlackArch Linux or even Manjaro. Remember, Manjaro is also it's also an Arch Linux based distribution. You can import the hacking tools from BlackArch to your Manjaro. Okay, so we have information right now. The scan is complete. We have all this information. FTP is open, SSH is open, Telnet is open. We have a PostgreSQL database running. We have VNC protocol running. Talking on VNC, let me see if I have a VNC viewer. VNC viewer. Alright, I have a VNC viewer. Okay, nice. So let's see. So which one are we going to exploit first? Let me try to connect to. Let's do the VSTPD server just for demonstration purposes. I'm going to do the VSTPD 2.3.4. We already did this attack on a previous video, but let me just show you. It's basically the same when you're using BlackArch Linux. So I can do search VSFTPD 2.3.4, and right there we have a module. We have a module running. Sorry, we have a module right there. We have an exploit Unix that targets the specific server that is running on the Metasploitable 2. Remember, I can use 0 or I can copy. So 0 is the ID for the exploit, or I can just copy it. So we can't copy it. I'll just use 0. Then do options. The only thing that we need to do here is setting the rhost or the remote host. So I can do set rhost 172.1.7.0.2. Okay, options again, confirm that everything has been set. Whatever is required or has been set as required, you have to set it. Now that everything is set straight, I can do exploit. Try to exploit the FTP server on the Metasploitable 2. We have found shell. Now a command cell session 1 has been already opened. If I do I'm root. If I do ls, okay, I can do pwd. I'm in the root directory. Now I can do background the session. If I do sessions -l to list the sessions, I can see that I have a session running. The type of shell here is a command Unix, the connection. So if you are a guy that is used to using Metapreta shell, or if you are not comfortable using the normal shell, you can always upgrade that shell to the normal shell to a Metapreta shell. The command is sessions, the shoe for upgrade, followed by the ID. The ID is 1. Okay, and just like that, you will upgrade that session to a Metapreta shell, and you'll have all the features of Metapreter shell that you want. If I do sessions -L again to list, what's up? Didn't work. Let's do it again. It may be used in other process. Okay, so I won't bother. You already know that's the command if you want to ever upgrade a shell. I'm told that a job is already running. Okay, so stopping the exploit handler. Okay, so that's so we have done some port scanning to. Now let's try to, let me just close this since I cannot. Now let me do some recon on the web applications that are available on the Metasploitable 2 machine. Let me try to open a browser. Let me open up Chromium browser. All right, so we have a browser there. So if I put the IP address of the Metasploitable 2 machine, I should see this Metasploitable 2, and we have these web applications that are running. We have Twiki, PHP, MyAbd, that's an administrator portal. We have a web application called Mutilide. We have DVWA, that is the vulnerable web application. We have WebDAV too. Okay, so you remember Nikto, you remember OWASP-ZAP, you remember that we also did some vulnerability scanning with Metasploit framework using WMAP. Now, just to demonstrate how you can do some basic scanning on a web application, be it a website, using BlackArch Linux. So remember, Nikto is also installed. We have Nikto, yep, version 2.1.6. So Nikto is a web vulnerability scanner. It's found in all these major penetration testing distributions. And by penetration testing, we mean ethical hacking. Okay, that is using this ethical hacking, these hacking skills for good. So now I can do Nikto. Now if do Nikto -H 172.17.02, that will do a vulnerability scan on the Metasploitable 2 web applications that are hosted there. Just like that, we already having some information. We have Apache, so we know that the Metasploitable 2 web applications are running on Apache 2.2.8. While that one is going on, let me just open let me see if we have such exploit. And yep, we do have sorry, let me just try to maximize it. So if I do such exploit, so we have such exploit. So such exploit is a command line tool for the exploit database. I don't know if you know, it's here. The exploit database is just a database of exploits that have been collected and have been put together. You will find all of them in that site. Okay, so if I do, let me just search exploit, then Apache 2.2.8. It was 2.2.8, right? Is it? Yeah, 2.2.8. So if I do enter, now we have all these exploits that we can use, or modules that we can use against this specific version of Apache. So all these modules can also be found on the exploit database. you can go to exploitdb.com. Now if I do, let's search the, remember the VSTPD server, VSFTPD 2.3.4. Yep. So we have a backdoor command execution vulnerability, and we have a Python script that can take advantage of that vulnerability. Then the next one is a Ruby. It's a Ruby file. It's contained inside the Metasploit framework. Okay, so this is the exploit that we use to target the vulnerable FTP server on the Metasploitable 2 machine. Okay, so we have all other tools that we can use with that are packaged inside this BlackArch Linux. 2,700 tools. That's a lot of tools. I don't think you will even finish up trying to go through every tool one by one. I think it will take a lot of time. But remember all the favorite tools that we are used to, like nmap, Metasploit framework, Distro, they are all inside the BlackArch Linux, so you don't need to worry. Then HP3, so we don't have HP3. So let's see if we can install it. pacman fns HP3. So target was not found. Reason, I need first to update and upgrade the system, and since I also don't have internet connection, it's going to be an issue. Okay, so guys, I need to have your views on what you think about BlackArch Linux. What do you think? What do you think we should do next? What video should we create? Should we create an installation video on how to install BlackArch Linux, or how we can do these updates and upgrades, how to install these different packages and everything? So and also how to install these different desktop managers like GNOME, KDE, Xfce. Drop your comments down there. I will take a look, and then we'll get that done from there. So that's it, guys, for today. This was a simple demonstration on how you can do some port scanning and exploitation with BlackArch Linux. As I've told you, it's a very great tool. I would wish you guys would just try to give it a try, see how it goes. And if you encounter any problems, please, you can always email me at madskillske@gmail.com. I'll post the email down here. You can reach me directly. If you have any issues, if you have any comments, you can always put them there, and I'll be glad to reply them and also help you out. Thank you, guys, and I hope to see you in the next video. But please also remember to subscribe, share my videos. They will help me a lot as I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Thank you, and see you in the next video. God bless.